Good morning. I just remember that me and my fling from Christmas, we vaguely talked about the movies like Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. I don't remember much of what he said about that one, sadly, but I do think that 500 Days of Summer came into conversation. Vaguely. Now, mind you, I guess I'd never really looked too into it, but I did look up the premise of that movie, and it's like, oh, look, it's someone who had a fling for a short amount of time, or I guess, I don't know, a decent amount of time, and then vanishes. And then it's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt trying to figure out how to go back to normal after all of these unrealistic expectations were put on her and they thought they were soulmates and stuff. I have to say it. I've said it before and I said it again. My main issue with Mitchell, there's a lot of things to have issues for. Like, god damn it, the gray area rape thing keeps getting dismissed by me, but it's like I know that's something I should take a lot more seriously, and I'm upset at myself for not hating him for it. Or at least I should hate him a lot more. I'm aware of that. My issue isn't with the fact that it's like if he didn't want a relationship, that was fine. The whole fling between us was preset that it was going to just be 2 days. And the second it ended, whenever it ended, it would simply be me blocking him and us moving the fuck on. And I would have been fine with that. But he was told every step of the way, before, during, and after, if he felt any sort of change, or like if he desired something different, or felt interestingly weird, or any sort of connection that he felt was more than just fleeting or temporary, to just bring it up with me, because I would have wanted to know. I would have wanted to know. I would have wanted that. And we met up. Most of the time went wonderful, but he still hid how he felt. It would still come out, though. It would come out in his jealousy, in his insecurity, in his possessiveness of me, even in situations where he didn't need to be. It would show up in the way that he hated showers, but would still constantly he would take 2 or 3 showers a day if it meant I was there with him. I would ask him, hey, baby, did I get all the soap out of my ass crack? How's it looking back there? Is everything good? Is there any blood anywhere? Because mind you, I was on my period. And he would literally bend down, spread open my cheeks, kiss my butthole, and say, everything's all good. And then it's like, I don't know. He just couldn't move. He, like, mind you, let's not get too sexual with it. I'm sorry, I don't want to be too vulgar, but I'm just saying. Actually, hell, I'll mention it at some point when he was eating me out consensually. I remember I specifically, like, he made me come in a way that was mind-blowingly good. Like, holy fucking shit. I squirted in his mouth twice, and it's like, mind you, he's eating it as I'm on his period. And then I squirted twice, and then another thing happened that I'm not gonna mention. And I'm just gonna say it. I remember specifically, I was like, holy shit, this is good. Wait, 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 slow down. Oh, wait. And I was having the time of my life. I lost track of how many times I orgasmed. But it was like legs quivering, eyes rolling into the back of my head. I was actually scared because of how good it was. Because it was like, wow, this guy's got talent. And mind you, he was looking at me with his big, fucking beautiful, like ocean blue green eyes, and I was like, fuck, dude. It's like he's exactly my type, and he's perfect, and he knows how to give good head in both holes. He was switching between the holes so perfectly, whole tongue, deep, deep, deep in my ass, and he did that from his own accord. I didn't even ask him. He chose to do that. I remember at some point I orgasmed, and then I remember he was so close to bringing me to another one after. Immediately after that, I was like, wait, wait, wait. Oh, you gotta stop. Oh, and I physically started pushing him away. I was like, you have to stop right now. Oh, else no, really, you have to stop. Or else I'm gonna fall in love with you, and that will complicate things. Stop it right now. Quit while you're ahead. Holy shit. And you know what he did? He smirked, smiled at me, and dove back in and tried to keep eating me out. And it was one of those things where it's like, this man is dangerous and unpredictable, but I liked that. Or only in the instance of, risky. I think, I'll put it this way: a strange thing to do if you allegedly don't like a girl. Now, even if we didn't mention sex, because mind you, aside from oral sex and the gray area bullshit with me and him, of the sexual assault attempt he tried on the first day of us meeting, I will say this: every other moment we didn't have sex, every other moment was just like long, prolonged, like cuddling, chatting, talking, sitting in front of a fireplace, drinking sherry and eating cookies, walking around the city, trying out new food. Like, it was a whole lot of exploration and two people enjoying each other's company. I liked it a lot. I remember I was a bit nervous though, and I could tell he was too, because mind you, there's the elephant in the room of two people who are very attracted to each other. And it's like, it stopped it was like a little bit of a looming cloud of like, the more fun you have, the more you know, damn, it's gonna hurt later when this shit ends. He detected it. I remember that he just assumed, oh, Tamia seems really, really happy, but it seems like there's like a slight air of sadness, like on the twinge of it. And I get the feeling it's because I can't get my dick hard and because we haven't fucked. And that's the one thing she wanted. And she also wants to like end things. And I don't know. I like, and he just told me, he hinted it, but he didn't straight up confess the root feeling of him having feelings for me. At least not until that point. But he did still express at some point. I remember it was a drunken mutual argument at a bus stop that we had. And he was like, I get the feeling like you're just thinking about other men instead of me. And I get the feeling that you just really don't even like hang out with me. Like the energy feels different than before. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you just don't seem like you're having a good time at all. And I was like, I have really been smiling from ear to ear every second of this time. Baby, what makes you think I could ever not like company with you? This is the most fun I've had in months, maybe even a year, as embarrassing as it is to say. Like, I had a great time. But I remember we were still going back and forth, because he just didn't believe me. And I remember at some point he was like, I think you just are hiding the fact that you aren't happy because we haven't had sex. And I said, that's not even true. Like, come on now. Like, and I said, we met off of Reddit. Like, the plans were just to bang and maybe make some shitty lasagna or whatever. And that is it. Nothing more. I mean, nothing more. It was, and it's like the bar was pretty low. And mind you, I was drunk. And he also cut me off. He's cut me off and he started shouting, really, Tamir? Really? The bar is low? And I was like, yeah. He was like, the bar is low. Are you saying that to me right now? And I said, what do you think I'm saying? And I just gently said, what do you think I'm saying? And he said, you're saying that I haven't reached the bar? And I said, no, dumbass. I'm saying that you clearly superseded the bar in every single potential fucking way ever. And I told him the only reason I was ever even looking for sex off of Reddit was because I was looking for actual intimacy and I didn't think I would ever actually get it. I didn't think I would meet someone who was actually gonna be like interesting or handsome or charming. I thought I was just gonna meet a bunch of stupid fucks. And he kind of smiled a little bit, like he calmed down a little bit. And I was like, I thought I was gonna meet nothing but a bunch of fucking losers who couldn't do shit but microwave a fucking Stouffer's lasagna and give me like 5 minutes of mid-tier sex before rolling over and going to bed. I thought that. And then you know what you brought me? It's like, okay, your dick doesn't work. Boo-hoo. It happens all the time. I don't care. I don't even care about sex like that. But instead, you brought me amazing conversation, and I have been having an endless amount of fun this entire time. Like, trust me, it's like, and I even remember I told him this, but he still didn't fully believe me. He was happy, but still was defensive. I told him, think of it like this: if you could get Angelina Jolie in your presence and she could fuck you, but then imagine she has like vaginismus or something, like her pussy muscles aren't working, so she can't open up, so you can't fuck, or she's too dry or whatever. Are you gonna say, fuck no, I'm not gonna hang out with Angelina Jolie, or are you gonna still stay and talk to her because that's motherfucking Angelina Jolie and she's beautiful, gorgeous, and you can still have a lot of time with her? Simply put, like, yeah. And then he got defensive again, and I had to explain, motherfucker, no! Stop seeing bad in what I'm saying. You're obviously Angelina fucking Jolie. I don't give a fuck if your genitals work, because I like you. And I'm happy to just have you. Like, you're fine as fuck. You're very attractive and attentive and intelligent. And I like talking to you, and I've had the most fun I've had in ages and told you shit I haven't told anyone else, and vice versa. I'm having a blast. But and he just kept getting so close to believing me, but then shooting himself in the foot. A lot of things happened. I don't want to say it, but let's say it like this. Let's just say an episode happened, and then I remember I was sitting on the floor at that little bus stop, sad as fuck, head aching because I slammed my head against the bus stop several times in my episode. And I remember I looked at him crying, and I was like, how come every time I say something nice at you, you search for some reason to spin it into something negative? I wish you believed I liked you. I don't like men for that reason, because it seems like every time I like a man, it's like I just get punished for doing so, and it's like I like you, and I want you to believe that. And I hate that I'm being punished for liking you. And then I started crying and stuff. And then I remember I was drunk, and my head hurt. So I was like, ow, fuck. And I was struggling to walk, and I was like, I'm going back to the hotel. And he helped me walk there. And, and then we got another night because he was worried about, like, how I was going to be for the rest of the evening. He did care. And funny enough, the rest of the evening went super easy, as if none of that argument ever happened. We just watched the World Chase Tournament on TV, and we showered together, and we went back to telling each other jokes and cuddling and relaxing and more. But don't worry, we did eventually talk about it. But it took like another day or two before he just finally admitted, like, and it took me admitting it first. I knew he had feelings for me. I knew it. I could tell with everything he did. Not even including sex, I could tell. And then I remember that specifically, like on the fourth, almost the fifth day, the conversation was had. Because we thought that would be the day we'd finally wrap things up. And I talked to him, and I was like, and he still said that he felt there was some sort of tension between us, that it was about the sex, and that he doesn't fully believe that it wasn't, and that he feels like he's disappointed me, and that he's fucked this all up, and that I haven't been impressed by him, or that he hasn't been able to give me that good of a holiday season. I took a breath, and I just said, if you've been detecting any tension, and I have too, mutually, it's not because of that. It's because I have realized that I have more feelings for you than expected. And I know it's supposed to be within the confines of a fling. It's not supposed to supersede that. It's supposed to be like we fuck like animals, and or have our fun and do whatever and then block each other. But that wasn't the case. Sadly, I really, really like you, and I guess I'm just scared because it's like it means I have to put my emotions on the line and just allow for myself to get hurt. But I'm gonna say it. I have feelings for you. I don't know if they're fleeting or longer term or not. All I know is I'm afraid because it's like here's this amazing connection I haven't had with anybody before. And it could end at any second, so I have to be on guard because if I get too emotionally invested, I'll get hurt. And I remember as I talked about this, he got really emotional too and was holding my hand and smiling, and he seemed really relieved, and he confessed that he felt the same way. And he said that I made him feel really loved and really special in a short amount of time. And that he was grateful to meet me and know me, and that he loved every minute of it, and that, mind you, he's like 29. So it's like, sorry, you probably can't tell I'm crying right now, but I remember he started crying in front of me. And, men don't like to do that. He actually himself, he was like, sorry if I look like a little bitch. And I was like, no, you're not, it's fine. And I gave him a napkin and stuff, and he was just like, yeah, I just haven't done anything like this before with anybody, so I'm grateful that he was grateful he got to do it for the first time and have a candlelit dinner and like try all sorts of new foods and new things and like break his routine, and he seemed really, really happy, and that made me happy. The conversations that ensued after got a little bit more complex. Let's just say then it was the hard part of like, okay, what do we do next? I pictured something, he didn't. Or how do I put this? He had feelings for me, definitely. But I guess it was also like, shit, I don't know if he explained that he's a man of routine. So he's worried, like, he explained that he thought he was a very boring man. That all he does is, like, he wakes up super early, reads books, like, he'll listen to a podcast and drink tea, and then he'll go ride his bike for hours because doesn't really have any hobbies or friends. And then he'll go do kickboxing or Muay Thai. He might stop by his job just to say hi to coworkers for a bit and hang out there to pass the time because he doesn't have any friends. And he'll do just, but he works out and takes care of himself. But he still thought, to me, it's going to find me so fucking boring. It's just a lot of hiking and biking and all this shit. The whole time I was like, that sounds like a perfectly attractive, healthy man. I don't see how that couldn't fit. And there's a lot of men doing less, and I'm not perfect either. Why would I hate on him? And he explained that he also is the type of man where he perceives that he needs a specific sort of partner for a specific sort of ending. And that as much as he liked me, he thought to himself, like, but the religion thing and the homeschooling differences might be a deal breaker. And then he just kind of thought to himself, even if he really did like someone, like truly, really felt a connection, it would truly hurt him to keep going any longer because he would feel as if it was some sort of facade, like a fake act of like, oh, look at us, pretending we're still dating, pretending we still have a thing for each other. And whole time knowing there's no end game, knowing there's not a single end goal in sight. That, like, he just thinks it would be a waste of time and stop him from finding his soulmate. And he doesn't think it would be a good idea to try anything else that doesn't fit within those confines, despite his feelings for me. And it's like, I can't, it stung a little bit, but I understood to an extent. I could tell, I even knew back then, it's like, this is a man who likes me, but he's afraid of it. And he doesn't want to try something that is perceived as new, and he has a self fulfilling prophecy. A part of me, I thought to myself, I know just what to do. And we were spitballing ideas of how to stay in each other's lives. Eventually, the idea came up of like, hey, how about this? How about we just be friends? He was like, I don't think I can be friends. I said, why? He said, because I think I would always want more. And then if I want more, but I know it won't end well, look at him saying words like no. He doesn't know shit, asshole. But either way, he was like, if he knows it won't end a certain way or feels it won't end a certain way, then it's not worth, then it will just like get both people's hopes up. But I remember at some point I was like, how about this? How about we just don't have any sort of commitment or ties? We don't even allow it to like be a pressure. We don't have to care about it just like too much. It could be simplified. And I thought, how about this? How about we just don't talk? And then if I feel like reaching out, you can feel like responding or not. And it can be like, hey, I have a spare ticket to a comedy show. Would you like to go with me? And then we can go. And then whatever happens in the date happens. And it just stays within the confines of that date. And we don't think about it further. Or how about, like, and then little things. I'm always looking for people to go to things with that I get invited to. And I could tag you along. And I thought to myself, that does sound nice. And he actually really liked that idea. But then I remember after he agreed to it, a part of me just felt sunken. And I just kind of knew, like, wait, no, if I agree to this, I know I will secretly be hoping. I just knew if anything more happens, I will be secretly hoping and waiting for him to come back. Or to, like, I don't know, I just thought to myself, that just seems like begging and waiting. Like, sure, it could be convenient to an extent, but I thought to myself, that would not be healthy for me. To be with someone and then only meet, like, I thought to myself, good in concept, but it would just lead to me wanting more. So I can't agree to something like that. At least because to an extent, then ironically, that would just be outright lying to each other. And if the feelings did eventually come up and he didn't want to address them, that would hurt more. So I told him for straight up, I explained my reasoning for that too. I said if we were to do something like that, like, and if there were like romantic confines in it, even if it would feel nice in the moment, let's just say it would be even harder to end. And it would be too close to a relationship and basically the same thing. So then any rejection of a relationship would just be insulting. Or if you did just up and leave me for someone you deem holier or more Christian or more pure, And then I remember he got very upset hearing that. But he did explain, and I don't know how to feel about it. But I remember I thought, how about we just be friends? It makes it easier. And then we can just take things super, super slow as friends. And we can navigate that as we go. And that's a lot better than just saying we can commit to being like friends who make out, kiss, and go on dates. How about it's just like, hey, how about just genuine friends who like talk every now and then and hang out platonically? And then we can see for ourselves after a bit of hanging out if that is, if anything more, something we feel safe exploring mutually. We have to test the waters first. We can't just dive in, it'll make a mess. And I remember this hurt me, but I remember he specifically said, I think that's a bad idea. Because at that point, like, I think, and he's so hypocritical and a fucking idiot. We both are in in this whole conversation. But I remember he said, I think that's a bad idea because if we were friends, I think it would just still make me want more. And if we both have to just do certain things, he was like, if we have to do things to avoid getting romantically attached to each other like that, then it's a bad idea to stay in contact. But in reality, I think, and at least, no offense, it seems to me, even looking back at this conversation, that he was just upset at the idea of like not being able to have his cake and eat it too. It's like you're either a friend or you're someone who's going to be fucking and dating me. Like, you can't just have both. You have to choose. And he hated the option of friends since that would have sealed him off from any romantic opportunity. I don't know. He's such a hypocrite in a lot of ways. But of course he is. He's stupid. Let's continue. And I remember he was like, so maybe if we can't do that, maybe we should just end it here so it doesn't hurt anymore any further on. And I acted like I could handle it, but I couldn't. I started breaking down, crying really hard. I tried to hide it. He felt so sad. seeing me cry. He didn't want to see me cry, and I know that. I just couldn't hold it in. And I forget what happened. Oh no, I remember. He was really sad. He also communicated, I feel awful seeing you cry. I don't want to do something like this to you, because if I can make you cry, then I don't want to be in your life to make you cry even more, because I really do care for you. And I thought to myself that I didn't fully believe it, because it's like, oh, you care for me, but only if you get sex in the process, or. And then I remember that's when I started to have another episode. I started doing that facial twitching and I could feel that I was starting to black out a little bit. And this I remember was extremely sweet of him. Another reason I liked him a lot is that he was like, "Are you okay?" And I couldn't speak. I was going nonverbal, and I couldn't even get out more than like one syllable. Like a stutter was happening. I couldn't speak. And so he was like, "Would you like help getting up so you could go to the bathroom and gather yourself and recoup?" And I nodded my head, and my vision was going out. But he was so sweet. He gently like lifted me up, one arm holding around my shoulder, the other one holding my hand, navigated me through the lounge space and opened the bathroom door for me, and I was able to go to the bathroom and recoup. And he did that peacefully and respectfully. No fanfare, no chaotic behavior, none of that. And I thought to myself, I think that's the nicest someone's ever been whenever I've been in that mental state. And I really liked it. He's a decent person when he wants to be. But I think it's also noteworthy that it's like, out of all the times I've had moments like that, I think he was the first to do that. Which is really sad that I can say it, but really nice that he was able to do it. But lo and behold, I talked to myself, I cried out my emotions, I reflected, and I came back feeling all smiles. And he was a little concerned at the drastic emotional change, but I said, how about this? We don't have to think about it too much. At least as of now. If it's ending, it's fine. But I don't want to think about that right now. For now, I just want to be able to, where whatever happens, I want it to end on a good note. And I just want to be in a good mood. So are you down to do something fun today? And he said yes. I forget what it is we did next that day. I'm pretty sure, funny enough, I think we made plans to do something, but we kept getting distracted by conversation. And the next thing you know, like, we got drunk off of the sherry in the lobby. And we had even more conversations in front of that fireplace. And then conversation got very, very heavy. And we were both drinking a lot. And I remember the very distinctive, like, he was ranting about all sorts of things he was passionate about. Circumcision, definitely. He was ranting about his own parents. He was ranting about, like, tons of praise for me. He was very sweet. And then, of course, the infamous, someone should fucking murder your mother. I would fucking kill your mother. Your mother just needs to die. And he was giving that rant. And I remember thinking that was so sweet, because it was. And I thought to myself, this is the first person I think I've met in my lifetime to say that. And mean it, especially. I could tell he meant that shit. I was like, I've never been more attracted to a man in my life, and I'm kind of scared. We had a lot of unconventional things in common. Not to mention, he also mentioned he talks to himself. I don't know what type of conversations he has. No offense, his self-esteem ain't exactly high. So it seems like he's just... it's like, if he talks to himself, it just sounds like he's getting his ass whooped by himself, because he does not make good life decisions. Like, I'm just saying, you should throw away your talking buddy. That nigga hates you. Meanwhile, anyway, yeah, and then we got birria tacos. Was that the night, or did we get nachos? I forget, but we got some sort of really, I think it was that night we got birria tacos. And we got Snapple lemonade, and we had a great time. And we went to the hotel room upstairs and watched Wild and Out, at least from what I can recall. It was a sweet time. And I remember I thought to myself, this is probably my last night with Mitchell ever. We are never going to see each other again, and this is fine. So let me just embrace cuddling him. Let me just embrace what happens, and at least, like, even if it's like, at least I know he had feelings for me at some point. Even if they don't go anywhere, I'm still incredibly happy I got to meet him, incredibly happy I got to experience him, and incredibly happy that I got to even go in this direction. Because it's like, compared to like staying at home doing what I'm doing right now, of just like laying on the floor and being sad about things. Instead, it's like, look, he got to be there. And I got to see and feel how it is to be looked at with love and treated mostly like love. And he got to feel that too. He told me I made him feel very loved in such a short amount of time, and he was crying from it. And that was lovely. The next morning came the final day of us meeting up, and I remember the thing he said. Uh, he mentioned it passively a few times, but specifically, we made this really long video. He requested it, not me. I asked for a photo. He was like, let's take a video. And we have this like long, 6, almost 8 minute video of us just hugging in a BART station and saying inside jokes and being cute. It was like the ending to a sad, sweet Hallmark movie. And it hurts just to think about. Not because it ended, but because of what happened next. I remember that as he held me, he said a lot of sweet things about how I'm going to do great things and I'm going to be an amazing parent and I'm one of the best people he's met and all this sappy shit. That was nice, and it was. And I remember I thought to myself, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm a strong girl. I can handle this. But he got very emotional, and he would not stop. And so and he talked to me like I was sorry. He talked to me and about me like I meant something. I'm way too dehydrated to keep talking about this. I don't know. Ah, shit. I might have to let this one be a two-parter. Holy shit. Because I think I gotta pee and I gotta drink some water and recharge because it's already like 3:30 a.m. Holy shit. Alright. Talk to you later.